There are stories, and then there are stories. Basketball Hall of Famer Spencer Haywood has lived enough for 5 lives, and he tells stories in a new book called The Spencer Haywood Rule. Without that rule, there isn't a kid going right from high school to the NBA like Kobe or LeBron. You've never heard of the term one and done if it isn't for Spencer. That's the Spencer Haywood Rule. He fought for his right to make a living. His plea went all the way to the Supreme Court, and now all that and much more written on the pages of this new book.
And my brothers and sisters and my mother, we worked in the field from sun up to sundown, trying to make just to eke out of a living, you know, to try to get it going. So it's just thinking about it is hard, but it was fair. One day I was thinking about it, and I was trying to figure out how did I develop with both hands and how did I develop my legs, because I was picking cotton from 2 rows, you know, with both hands. So I learned to be delicate with my fingers, and I dragged a sack that weighed 100 pounds at 10 and 12 years old. So I put the sack on your back and you walk to the trailer to dump the trailer. So it was God developing me into a basketball player. And I thought I was going to be the best cotton picker that county and that state had ever overseen. So I was practicing. I've seen people dead, hangings, and so much abuse. And I've seen so many people on my side of the street. Blacks were abusing themselves and abusing each other because of what the examples that they had seen in front of them. So, yeah.
And then the good is your mother. You had a real strong relationship with your mother, didn't you?
A strong relationship with Mama Eunice. And she always would say, baby, you know, the Lord may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. And that's from Mahalia Jackson. So when I made it all the way to the Hall of Fame, my closing speech and the closing words of my speech was that. Because I reflect right back to the way I was growing up in Mississippi, and that's what brought out all of the joy of that moment. When I got ready to go to the Olympics, we didn't have a birth certificate. I didn't have a birth certificate because I was born by the midwife, and she didn't register me with the state of Jackson, at the vital statistics in Jackson, Mississippi. So I had no birth certificate. So we had to go. They said, Mrs. Haywood, can you send up the birth certificate to Colorado Springs, to where we were getting ready to head off to Russia? She says, yes, baby, but I can't send my Bible. It was written in the Bible under John 21. So they had to send someone from the Jackson newspaper down to my mom's house in Silver City, took a picture of it, then they went and developed the birth certificate, and that's how I got the birth certificate, so I got a passport so I could go to the Olympics. When I was fighting all the way to the Supreme Court, they were like, you're in politics, you can't change the rules, you can't do these things, you know. And then at the same time I was there, we had Kurt Flood, who was fighting for baseball, and then you also had Muhammad Ali, who was fighting for the rights of boxers and citizens throughout the world. So there's always been a social, as they say, social movement. Most players don't know who I am and what I've done for them and their family, because it's been polluted with the idea that first they call it a hardship rule. Second, they call it, early entry. Third, they call it one and done. And it's always been Haywood v. NBA, the U.S. Supreme Court ruling, which we are celebrating today, the 50th anniversary of it. And so now we have the book, the Spencer Haywood Rule, and now we have the commissioner and the Players Association are getting ready to rename the ruling as it should have been for years now, the Spencer Haywood Rule. And that's a blessing. The poor boy from Silver City, Mississippi,
where there's
no silver, there ain't no city.
What a great guy. We appreciate Spencer Haywood hanging out with us a little bit. Still ahead.